Everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my bed. I thought I'd just film a really casual and cozy Q&A video because I guess my second year at McGill is over. I'm sure a lot of you are in the same position with your schools either being moved to online, cancelled, or suspended. My school is suspended for 2 weeks and then we're going to resume classes online. That's kind of a weird time, I guess. Last year I filmed a first year down at McGill, like asked me questions about my first year, so I asked the same question on my Instagram, which I'll link down below if you want to follow me. I've been trying to be a little more active on there. So first things first, I got a lot of questions about if I'm going home and if school is shut down, etc. Stuff about coronavirus. I don't want to talk about that too much because I feel like it's all everyone is talking about right now, and I've been trying to keep myself busy with other things. I will say that I'm very lucky to be in an apartment off campus and not in residence somewhere, and I'm also in a place that is not as greatly impacted as others, like my home state of Washington, and other places like California, New York, and most of the European Union, as well as China and several countries in Asia. I'm lucky to be in Quebec. It's not so bad here right now, but that does mean that I can't go home because I live in Washington State and they have a pretty big state of emergency right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting tight here for the foreseeable future. Don't know when I'm gonna see my family again, but that is okay. And before I start talking about McGill related questions, I just wanted to say social distancing is important, and even though it's hard, especially on your mental health, try and keep yourself busy with various things, and just remember to practice good normal hygiene, and also be aware that even if you are not at risk of being sick, you could be carrying it on to someone who is. So keep your distance and just stay inside for a little bit, lay low. That's all I'm gonna say about that, but let's get into the other questions. So I got a question, which IDS stream am I in and what are my favorite classes, from Steph Juliet. I'm in the poli-sci stream. I actually recently switched over from culture to poli-sci, just kind of more my speed these days. And my favorite classes I've taken, I haven't taken a ton for IDS, to be honest. I've been kind of focusing on my art history major. Also, I had to get a lot of required classes for IDS out of the way, 3 econs, which has been not super great. But I loved Poly 227 with Daniel Dewick. I'd say that's my favorite IDS class I've taken so far. So if you're first year or even second year, I guess that's a really good one to take, intro-level poli-sci class. Could I share any secret campus locations, study nooks, hangout spots, etc.? Well, if I showed them, it wouldn't really be a secret anymore. How's downtown Montreal as a city? What would you compare it to? Chicago, Rome, etc. From r.ixn. I'm a small town girl, so this is quite a big city for me. The only city I'd say that's close to is Old Port, similar to cities I've seen in France, but honestly I'm not the person to go to if you're gonna ask about cities. Montreal's really cool. It's very mixed of European and kind of North American, which I like about it a lot. How long was the immigration process? From Natasha White. My god, you have to apply for a CAQ and then you have to apply for a study visa. So the whole thing takes I don't know, 8 to 12 weeks. It's a big hassle and it's expensive and it's just annoying, but it's worth it, I guess. Kalia says, what career do I hope to go into? Honestly, I'm keeping my options very open. I have a double major art history and IDS, and then a minor in entrepreneurship, business, I guess. And I really would love to do kind of art direction, I think. I'd love to do exhibition design, something like that. But I'd also love to do kind of more humanitarian UN stuff type thing. It'd be really cool to work on the UNESCO World Heritage sites. That's kind of a dream job. Are all of my exams canceled? No, we're just having everything online. How difficult was the schoolwork/social life balance? Any advice for future students? It can be hard sometimes. I find that my social life is talking with my roommates over dinner, and that's kind of it. When it's a really hard exam season, I think that me and my friends are all kind of on the same page. Is the best way to tackle that school/social life balance is to study with your friends. We're definitely the type of friend group to post up at a giant table in Redpath all day and just study together. What do you think of the IDS program? I personally love it because it is so interdisciplinary. Some people don't like that and they'd rather focus on just econ or just poli-sci, but I think it kind of makes for a more well-rounded education for me personally, getting to take courses in a variety of different subjects, all relating to one central topic of development. That's why I really like it. That's why I think it's a little bit more focused than something like a liberal arts degree, for example, because all of my classes are very focused on one central topic, whether it is in economics or political science or geography. They're all focused on developing nations and developing countries. My favorite part of second year that I didn't get to experience in the first year would probably certainly be living fully on my own. I have my own apartment, I got to decorate it. I had to decorate my whole entire room, getting to cook and go grocery shopping. Like, this is my first time ever being like a true adult, you know? Like, because in dorms we're still fed by BMH like 3 times a day. Like, getting to actually live on my own was something that like this year has given me that first year absolutely did not. How do I fit like work into my school social life balance? Work has been hard. It's necessary for me to have money to pay for, you know, various things, but it's certainly been a challenge. I work about 15 to 20 hours a week and I take 5 classes. So I'm like pretty full, and you know, that's not including any of my extracurriculars like YouTube or my physical things I like to do for my well-being, like dance and go to the gym on a daily basis. So I'm stretched pretty thin, to be quite honest. I try and wake up really, really early every day to try and get like a really big jump start in the day before I have to even go to my classes or work. I'm still working on finding my perfect work, school, social balance. What clubs have I been a part of at McGill? From Abigail. I did a recreational dance company in my first year. It's a really awesome club that like offers dance classes to McGill students for like a really great price. And I ended up just not doing that just because ballet has always been really more of my thing, not so much a wide variety of dance. And I not only would have rather spent the time taking ballet class like outside of McGill, but also working and making money was really necessary for me, and I couldn't really incorporate like a full club. But yeah, I tried to be a part of UNICEF, but the only meetings were during my evening class, so that didn't really work out. What are things you wish you'd known before sharing a house this year? Honestly, I had a pretty good experience with my roommates and moving into our apartment. There were some bumps kind of in like different people's pet peeves and preferences, like when it comes to cleaning mostly. It's important to be respectful of your roommate's spaces and also be very clear like when you want your own space. It can be a little bit challenging to have your alone time in a house full of like 5 people, but I think that open communication has honestly solved all of our issues. Who is my favorite roommate? From Emily. That's a hard one. It really changes day by day. McKenzie asks me the level of difficulty compared to first year. First and second year were a bit weird for me. First year was harder if you just look at my grades, but honestly that has a lot to do with my 8 weeks of pneumonia and Econ 208. Second year has been better academically just because I've been taking classes that I am actually quite interested in instead of kind of taking a wide range of classes trying to figure out what I'm interested in. That being said, second year has been so much busier. I haven't been able to go out like nearly as much as I did first year. So it kind of varies. I definitely lost a lot of the social aspects, but gained a lot more academically. I think it also probably depends on like major by major how each year goes. How well can I get around Montreal without learning proper French? From Janae. It's not hard at all to get around just speaking English. I think the only challenge arises when you want to work here. You may have to have a campus job, but when it comes to getting around, like there's English everywhere you go. So like that's really not going to be an issue. Am I going to be graduating in 4 years? Yes, that is the plan. Did I have a year 0 last year, or did I start right out with a major? Well, fun fact, I started the semester as U0. Even though I knew I had credits, I was still, you know, U0 on Minerva, and I was supposed to take my like freshman year arts courses. And then in November, miraculously, all of my credits transferred over halfway through the semester, and I was bumped up to U1. So I essentially lost an entire semester and just took all electives because I had no idea that I was U1. And so the second half of first year, I was U1 and I took all classes from my major. So that was fantastic. Great planning on McGill's part. How does the social scene change after moving out of res? From Fran. That's like actually an interesting question because we don't go out to the clubs nearly as much, like maybe once a week, if that. But house parties and just like kind of smaller parties with our friends and our friend groups have like become so much more of the norm, which is kind of like really fun actually. Like if you stay connected and close with your friends, and also house parties are just super fun because you don't have to pay cover, and like if you're hosting one, you can just like go to bed right after. So it's actually been kind of great. Oh, I talk about the art history major program. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd love to. Art history is really small at McGill, which kind of sucks, but I love it. I'm an art history major, and there's not that many courses offered. There's I think like 6 or 7 art history courses offered per semester, so you don't have a lot to choose from, especially because like 3 of them are 200 levels. But the really interesting and like great part about it is the selected topics classes. Every semester, like the selected topics classes will change. There's like 3 or maybe 2, and so those ones are like the best because that'll be a prof like really teaching their specialty or like a really specific interesting topic. So, and they always have like the biggest wait list and they're the hardest to get into, so I always like make sure to check for those. Oh, Macy asks my favorite memory in the apartment, which is so sad because Macy actually moved out back to Victoria yesterday. Probably just like those nights when it's all 5 of us girls and none of the boyfriends are here, and we either like cook dinner together or dance together. Like we had a full dance party yesterday, and you're not thinking about anything, you're not focusing on school, just the memories when it's just the roommates. But I've also loved the parties we've thrown with all of our friends, like everyone here together. And Macy, when your mom hosted the big dinner, that was fantastic. We played those games. Just like things like that, like wholesome memories. I tried to answer as many questions as I can. I think I covered like pretty much the gist of what they were all asking. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope everyone is doing okay and staying safe. Make sure to wash your hands, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks so much. Bye.